Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Nolan Hawkeye Anthony YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. Got a fun video for you guys today. Originally, I was going to do a two-parter, but this is just going to be a one-parter. Iowa versus Seton Hall in men's basketball. And let's just say it was a fantastic performance by the Iowa Hawkeyes men's basketball team. Many thoughts on the game, all of them very positive, or nearly all of them very positive. And Iowa fans, you should be very happy with this Iowa basketball team. Overall, I've said this many times before, Iowa fans, we are living right now in probably the best era to be an Iowa fan, or top three. So many of Iowa's sports are really, really good, but specifically the main sports are dang good. Okay. Maybe not the best, but good. They compete each and every year. And for that, I am very, very grateful, because I know, and many fans know this, that it's not always that way. So enjoy it while it lasts, because quite frankly, it doesn't last forever. Anyways, let's dive into Iowa versus Seton Hall, and I will give you guys my thoughts on the game. But before we do that, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It takes 1.25 seconds. Support a fellow Hawkeye out. Like, comment, share. If you want to donate to the channel, like so many awesome Iowa fans have already done, which I'm very grateful, you can hit the donation button on the video that you're watching right now and support your boys' coffee habit. And without further ado, let's get into this. Well, this was the first test of the season for the Iowa men's basketball team, and they passed it with flying colors. The game started out a little bit slow for the Iowa Hawkeyes. I would say outside of maybe the first 5 to 7 minutes, Iowa was in complete control of the entire game. This Iowa basketball team, I'm going to try and keep my thoughts succinct here. This Iowa basketball team is loaded, okay? Their first 5, unlike other years, because in other years, Fran McCaffrey has 9 guys that are solid. And one of those guys in the 9 are really, really, really good, but the 9 are solid, not necessarily great. This year's team has a few guys that are good, really, really good, above solid. And it's not that this team can't go 9 deep, but it's going to look more like this, like what we saw with Chris Murray, 37 minutes, Philip Obracha, 35 minutes, Patrick McCaffrey, 21, Tony Perkins, 34, Sanford, 19, Ulis, 27, and C-Mac, 23. So, in other words, the top 7 guys are going to be playing 20-plus minutes a night, 18 to 20-plus minutes a night. And I'm good with that. I am good with a shortened or tighter rotation. Now, Iowa definitely would benefit having Dasonte Bowen, in my opinion, more specifically, Josh Dix, continue to improve the rest of the season. Now, we'll see what happens with the red shirt. I believe in basketball, there's a certain percentage that each freshman, any player that hasn't used their red shirt already can play before they burn the red shirt. And that comes out to like 8 to 10 games that they can play. I don't think Josh Dix or Dasonte Bowen will end up redshirting. Now, if this is all they're going to play the whole season, or, in the big games, then maybe they will. But I think it's unlikely. I think the Iowa staff is expecting them to improve, and they will not use the red shirt on them. But if it's just the 7, this is a really, really good 7-man rotation. Again, you need more. Iowa could use of everything they could use. Like I said, Josh Dix, having a guy that's a 6'4" shooting athletic wing is always beneficial, who can handle the ball is always beneficial to your team. But anywhere else on the team that they could definitely use some assistance would be one of the big fellas. They just are not coming along as quickly as I expected, and quite frankly, as quickly as the coaching staff expected. But that's a different topic for a different day. This Iowa team, the 7 that they have, are really, really good, especially the top 5. They have athleticism. This is probably the most athletic basketball team Fran McCaffery has had in his entire Iowa coaching career. They have length. They have multiple guys: Peyton Sandfort, Patrick McCaffrey, Chris Murray, Philip Obracha, who are 6'8" plus. Even the guys playing the guards positions have good size for their position. Tony Perkins is 6'4". Okay, he's playing the point guard. He's 6'4". Aaron Eulis is 6'2", 6'3". Connor McCaffrey is 6'5", 6'6". They have excellent size, length, and athleticism. And they are very, very skilled, especially on the offensive end. I'm going to pull up the KenPom so you guys can see just how good this Iowa team is doing so far this season. This team was what really stood out to me in this win over Seton Hall was the intensity, was the dog mentality that Iowa had against Seton Hall. They went on the road against a definitely possible big NCAA tournament team in Seton Hall and beat them by double digits in front of a pretty rocking crowd. This Iowa team has grit, and they have had grit, a certain swagger over the past couple of seasons. That is something that has been pointed out and is definitely true. There is a certain competitiveness instilled in this Iowa basketball program, in the culture of this Iowa basketball program that exists. And it starts with Tony Perkins, which I'll get to him in a second. But Iowa was way more physical than Seton Hall, which is why they got the win against them last night. They were more physical from start to finish. They were cool, they were calm, they were collected. It was great. Moving on to Tony Perkins. Guys, I am happy to say, not that I'm fully wrong, because I never necessarily committed to this idea, but I had my reservations with Tony Perkins at the point guard. Now, in fairness to me, I hadn't really seen a ton of evidence that he could be a point guard, because being a point guard requires something that is not necessarily required of the shooting guard. When you're the point guard, you are running the show. You're the quarterback on the team. You are running the show. Man. And I had my reservations of Tony Perkins, but man, this guy is legit. Too legit. He's too legit. He is, guys. Tony Perkins can get anywhere he wants on the court. He's 6'4". He's strong. He's got, wide shoulders. He gets anywhere he wants on the basketball court. He provides something Iowa hasn't had since probably Mike Gesell, little bit of Anthony Clemens. Trying to think any other guard that Iowa has had that provides the athleticism and the ability to get to the rim and defend that he has. Maybe Joe Toussaint a little bit, but even Joe doesn't have the same ability to get to the rim and have a really, really nice mid-range game, because, he was 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot. Tony Perkins is a legit 6'3", 6'4". Okay. It's a big point guard. And I love the switch, because it's not if, it is, Perkins makes it happen at his size at the point guard position. Folks, this may be the year Iowa finally can advance past the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. Because the one thing that they have been missing is a point guard that can dictate the game, especially against really, really good teams. You know, Jordan Bohannon would be able to do it in certain ways, but if he wasn't able to do it in those very specific ways, then he was pretty much basically taken out of the game. I mean, Jordan Bohannon, with the exception of his final year, was basically, you know, either he was on and he had his specific talents and abilities that he could push, or it was taken away and he had a very, very quiet night all around. Tony Perkins can impact the game even if he doesn't score a single point. He's an excellent playmaker. He constantly pushed the ball against Seton Hall, getting to his spots, getting to where he needed to get to make a play for the Iowa Hawkeyes basketball team, finding the open shooter or taking it to the rim and getting a bucket. There was one specific play against Seton Hall where they were making a push and Tony Perkins had an and one that was just a big boy move. I mean, he took it, he lowered it, he dipped his shoulders and went right into the chest of the defender, which many coaches will always, you know, you'll always hear coaches saying this to younger kids, go at him, get into his chest. Because if you're shying away from contact, that's not good. So I am ecstatic about Tony Perkins' development. This guy is legit. I think, you know, I don't want to go too crazy here, but if he continues to improve like this, and it's not even necessarily if he continues to improve like this, it's just from what I'm seeing right now, given his athleticism and his size, he absolutely could play in the NBA. I really think he could. I'm not saying that that will happen. I'm saying it is a definite possibility. There are some improvements he needs to still make. He needs to keep improving with his three-point jumper and probably become more consistent in his mid-range game. But it's looking very good right now, guys. It is looking great. Tony Perkins is exactly what Iowa fans have been clamoring for at the point guard position. I have nothing but good things to say about him. He is legit, folks. He finished last night with 18 points, 1 rebound, and 5 assists. That's just a great night. That's just an excellent night. Moving on, Chris Murray totally dominated the game. You know, I probably could have spent as much time on him as I did Tony Perkins. He had 29 points, 11 boards, and 1 assist. Seton Hall had no answer for Chris Murray. Chris Murray is, you know, he showed last night why he is going to be an NBA first-round draft pick. The only question is it going to be lottery or is it going to be more towards the back end of the first round? Chris Murray is ready to go. And, you know, one thing I'll say, yeah, Chris and Keegan's game are different. Their demeanor and their style are similar in how they approach the game of basketball. But yeah, their game is a little bit different. I would say Chris Murray has a smoother, more effortless jumper than Chris and is probably a better three-point shooter. Or excuse me, Chris has a better, smoother jumper than Keegan. He is a better three-point shooter than Keegan. Probably a better passer too. But there are a lot of similarities as well. Either way, he's ready to go this season. Patrick McCaffrey had a good night, 11 points, 5 boards. Philip Obracha had an excellent game as well, 11 rebounds and 10 points. He is looking good so far this season. Sanford had a quiet night. He did not shoot the ball as well as he would like. And Aaron Eulis, great game. I'm not surprised in the least that he played 27 minutes. He played a great game. The first half was not as good as he would like, But overall, he played a good game. And what a luxury it is to be able to go to a guy on the bench like Aaron Eulis, 6'2". For a lot of teams, he'd be their starting point guard. What a luxury that is. Connor McCaffrey played okay. Let's look at the team stats, and then we will wrap this up. Iowa shot 43%. They held Seton Hall to 35.8%. Iowa shot 31% from three, 84% from the free throw line. They lost the rebound battle 40-38, but still close. 13 offensive boards to 18, 10 assists to 14 assists, blocks 4-2, steals 8-5, turnovers 8-16. Iowa still has to continue to have an emphasis of rebounding. And the defense has been exactly what I have been clamoring for. So many Iowa fans have been clamoring for with this Iowa team. I have long said, as long as Iowa can be a top 75 defensive efficiency team, that is all we need. Just be a solid defense. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be great. Just be solid. Be good enough to where you can get stops where you need them every now and again. And you're not a pushover to where you have to score 100 points because, some previous Iowa teams were that bad defensively where Iowa, unless they outscored the other team, they weren't going to win. It was pretty much free reign to score against Iowa in previous teams. Anyways, guys, Iowa improves to 3-0. I am ecstatic about this Iowa basketball team. You guys should be too. I think that this Iowa team is going to surprise a lot of people. I told you guys before the season that I had Iowa finishing top 5 in the Big Ten. Being an Iowa fan, I obviously am higher on them than the media is. I'm actually surprised that the media was not higher. Well, let me take that back. The media actually likes this Iowa basketball team. There were a lot of reports that had Iowa as a top 25 preseason team. But the coaches poll and the AP poll didn't reflect that. I guess the AP poll would be media. But there were, places like 247 Sports, CBS, things like that had Iowa top 25. I'm rarely wrong about Iowa basketball. In my predictions, I have not been wrong about Iowa basketball. That's no joke. As far as will the team be good and will they be an NCAA tournament team? I have not been wrong yet. This is an NCAA tournament team. This is going to be a good team. I think this is going to be a top 5 Big Ten team. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa competes top 3 in the Big Ten. Now, again, we're only 3 games into the season. I get it. Okay. But still, I love what I'm seeing. Iowa is 15th in the KenPom. Adjusted offense is 2nd in the country, and adjusted defense is 58th. If Iowa can keep that up, folks, the sky is the limit. If they can continue to have a top 60 defensive efficiency team, the sky's the limit. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share. You know the drill. If you want to donate, you absolutely can. Support your boys' coffee habit by clicking the donation button on the channel. Subscribing takes 1.25 seconds. You know I love you. Last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. In fact, our feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. See you guys next time. Go Hawks. Bye-bye.